the music entrepreneur Jamal Edwards died in February at the age of just 31. His life was almost immediately celebrated by people from different walks of life, as Ed Sheeran, as Prince Charles.
Yeah, he has such a strong impact on people. And his mum, the singer and Loose Women presenter Brenda, wants that to continue in a trust that has been set up in Jamal's name. And honestly, we're honoured that you joined us this morning.
Thank you,
Brenda,
Thank you.
because it is still very recent and it's still very raw, isn't it?
Yes.
I wonder, as Richard said, when Jamal died, there was an outpouring, and I experienced it just at a distance, of people whose lives were touched, improved, whose careers were helped, supported, boosted by what he did. Was that in any way a comfort to you?
It absolutely was. I mean, Jamal was this lovely, happy person that always wanted to connect this one to this one. He'd always been introducing this one to this one, doing this for this one, without even thinking about himself most of the time. It was just about helping others.
He started a YouTube channel, which is where a number of people got exposure, including massive stars now, like Ed Sheeran and Jessie J, back at the beginning of their career. That started because you gave him a camera, didn't you?
He asked me for a camera for Christmas.
When he was how old?
15.
And what did he film then?
Well, he started filming foxes because he was inspired by Steve Irwin and David Attenborough, and so you'd hear him putting on the voices and outside in the back garden we've got, you know, and he's upstairs in his bedroom. I'm cooking downstairs, so I don't really know. As long as he's keeping himself amused, then that's fine. And then come down and Mummy, I've filmed this fox. I filmed this fox, and then he realised that the music that he wanted to listen to wasn't being represented on the mainstream market.
So he did it himself?
So he asked for a camera, and at the time, I have to admit, because it was expensive those times, and I was like, are you going to use it? I don't want to spend all this money and then you're not going to use it and it's going in the cupboard. And
that
he
didn't
made
happen.
great use of it. He made absolutely great use of it, filming everybody, including myself, when I was not even looking.
And this was, as you said, about 15, 16 years ago. It must seem like yesterday. The thing is, you see, nothing can prepare anyone for the unexpected death of a child. It's not the natural order of things. It's not the way it's supposed to work. And this only happened in February. And I take my hat off to you for getting out and coming onto programmes like this to talk about it, because it must help other people in the same position. How are you managing to... Because at some point, you've got to make some kind of sense of this.
Yeah.
How are you managing to do that? I'm
managing to do it because Jamal's mantra was about self-belief, which is why I've named the trust Jamal Edwards Self-Belief Trust. That was his mantra from day one. He wrote a book about it, Self-Belief, The Vision. It was an e-book and it became a bestseller as an e-book, and then it was made into a paperback. And so his thing was about trying to give young people the power to think about the dreams that they want to believe and how to achieve them.
And is talking about him in this way, as I say, so soon after he died, is it your way of basically accepting that it's real? Because I was telling you in the break, I lost my own father at a very young age. He was very young when he died, of a heart attack as well, very unexpectedly. He died in my mother's arms. And it took us a long time to accept the reality. You know, you'd wake up in the mornings and expect him to come into the room because it was such a sudden...
Absolutely.
Do you feel that?
I'm still having conversations with people, and it's just a natural thing for me to say, Jamal and Tanisha, Jamal and Tanisha.
Yeah.
And I'm still talking about him in the present tense.
Yeah.
And you know, it has been very comforting, the support that I've had from his friends, all of my family, and, as you say, people that I don't even know that he'd made such an impression of. I mean, I came in this morning and one of your producers, Gav, he met me and he said, Jamal actually gave me my first hosting job. And, you know, now he's working on GMB, and it's nice to speak to those people. I get emotional with it, but it does give me strength that my baby helped so many people, and that's given me the strength to keep his legacy going.
You say your baby, and you talk to him, don't you?
Yes, I do. I talk to him every morning and every night.
What do you say?
I say, hello, baby, morning, baby, good night, baby. I just talk about anything. I do get a lot of strength in that, and he inspired me a lot. Both of my children are very inspiring, and I would always talk to them about things that I'm doing with work, with Luce, or, you know, anything that I'm doing. He was always a champion. He was one that started up my social media because he said I wasn't doing enough. You know, so he took that over.
He had this remarkable mantra, didn't he, where he said, we're all going to die, but it's about creating...
It's what you do.
A life.
Yes, exactly.
Isn't it? And he had so much energy and so much passion.
Yes.
And
that never faltered from he was a young baby. He was always running around and trying to do this and do that. And he was a very inquisitive child, and he became a very inquisitive young man.
And what was it? What I think is so impressive about Jamal is that he wanted to do it not just for himself, he wanted to do it for other people. And that's what you've referred to, all the other people who he helped.
Exactly.
You, therefore, want to set up this... You're setting up this trust
we've
in
just
his
set
name,
up the trust.
and you want to help other people in the way that Jamal would have done.
The thing was, he was very specific in his will. He wrote a will, and he had...
done a will?
Yeah,
in his 30s?
Yeah, well, he had businesses, so, you know, he had to do a will. So he did a will, and he was quite... precise in what he wanted, even from his homegoing service. I call it homegoing service rather than funeral. He wanted blue to be represented, which is, you know, I'm trying to represent the blue because he was a fan of Chelsea, as a lot of people know. He wanted Luton to be involved. That was where he was born. And he, you know, it was just a really beautiful service. But the whole thing with the trust is two things that he was very passionate about was about helping the homeless. And every year, Christmas, he would go and he would help...
Shelter.
To a homeless shelter. All day.
Yeah.
My dinner would be wasted.
Yeah.
And 9:30 at night, that's when we're eating Christmas dinner. And so he would help the young and the homeless. And he was also about championing young people, which is why we want to set up the Self-Belief Academy.
Brenda, I don't know what your belief systems are, I don't know what your religion is, if you have a religion, but do you feel that he has gone on somewhere? Is that something...
Oh, he's with my mum and dad and my gran and granddad right now. And you know, when we laid him to rest, there was a J above in the sky, and the other clouds are all moving, but that J never faltered. And I believe that he's with me. I do have faith. I am somebody who has faith and belief in that. And you know, I think that I'm not here to put that on everybody else. Everybody deals with grief in their own way.
Of course, yeah.
This is how I deal with it. And when Jamal was here, I would speak to mum and dad, and he'd say, you speak to mum and dad, and I'm like, you're there with mum and dad right now. Please tell them I said hello. Yeah. And you know, and it's a beautiful thing out of something quite sad and negative.
Well, I think he'd be very proud of you.
Thank you.
And is the blue jewellery significant as well?
Well, the blue jewellery is significant because that was his colour, that was his theme for his homegoing, and this is something also that Ed's lovely mum made for me.
Ed Sheeran's mum?
Yeah.
She made the earrings and the pendant?
Yeah. So, you know, it's... I've got everything Jamal. This is his SBTV pendant that somebody made for him, a band. You know, I feel him. I feel him totally.
Very quickly, how's your... You have a daughter?
I have a daughter called Tanisha.
She's 28.
She's been amazing.
How's she?
She's been amazing because we've both thrown ourselves into SBTV business and everything, and with the trust. So it's all hands on deck currently at the moment. So thank you so much. And can I just say, if anybody would like to know anything and any information about the trust, they can go on the website jamaledwards.org and all the information.
jamaledwards.org.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
thank you for having me.
He really lives on, doesn't he, Brenda?
He is. It's going to continue.
Yeah, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Absolutely lovely to see you.
Thank you very much for having me.